And you can see the red dot here. So we are recording and we are ready for the Texas meeting.
All right, I'm going to call the Texas Charter School meeting to order. Today is Friday, May 14th, and the time is 10:53 a.m. All board members except for Lance Losey are present. We do have a quorum, and the meeting has been duly called, and notice of the meeting is posted as required by law. And I believe we're going to go to public comments first.
Yes, sir. So we take public comments at these meetings if there is an item that the public would like to speak to that's on the agenda. So we have a sign-up sheet that is available 5 minutes prior to the start of the meeting, and it asks that the speaker mention their name, write their name, and then also mention what agenda item they want to speak on. So, Sarah, do you want to check and see if we have anybody who is here to make a public comment on an agenda item?
Sure.
Hi, Wyatt.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello. Hello.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Yes, sir.
Wyatt, Sarah's checking on public comment, and then we will move into executive report once that's done. And we have Dr. Fellers, I think is before you, and she will be right here.
We can always circle back.
If there's someone
Yes,
who
let's circle back.
wants to address an agenda item,
Yes,
so you're asking we go forward
yes.
with
I
the
said
executive
before, and
report?
we can circle back to this.
Okay, is that okay with you?
Yes.
Dr. Fellers?
Hi.
Okay, so it's okay with the board. We're going to move to the executive report and possibly come back to public comment. Dr. Fellers, thank you for being here and giving us an update on testing and accountability.
Yes, sir. Hello, nice to see all of you. I don't think I've met any of you. My name is Dr. Fellers, and I run all of our, you too.
Yes.
I run our academic achievement data. So I will just give you an update on our assessment for this current school year, and then kind of what are our plans. So for 2021, this is our first year to test since COVID struck. So our students were obviously very excited to get back to that particular protocol. So as TEA stated, they needed to return to campus to take their assessments. All of our EOCs were done on the online system, and then a smattering, depending on the campus and their needs, took the online or the paper version of our 3 through 8 assessments. So we tested all of our EOCs. We actually have results back as of yesterday, which is great. That was all tested first week in April and then the first week of May. We are complete with all of those tests. Some of our TCPA campuses are completing their 3 through 8 assessments this week. So as of hopefully the end of today, we will have all of our tests in, all of our students complete on those particular STAR assessments. Our participation rate is down, but much higher than potentially we anticipated. We had a lot of pushback from families who were nervous about coming back to campus. We had a lot of families who were a little bit nervous about how the results were going to be used, which was expressed in a lot of different ways. And so campuses did a really phenomenal job of trying to work with the families, figure out exactly what would work for the kids, and getting just kind of those results to a place where we can actually use the information. So we were really, really happy with this participation over the course of this particularly interesting school year. ISBA also has, a specific difficulty because their students have to travel to places to test. And so sometimes that ends up taking a dip to our participation for those students, which is not unheard of, and also something that I think we work really hard. And they have increased their individual participation is up a ton from 2019 when they tested the very first time. So we were very encouraged to see that participation for those students. So I think that's everything on this. Results, no one is going to be getting an A through F rating this year based on star performance, growth, or any of our closing the gaps. We will not be getting those A through F ratings. We will, however, be using the data. So like I said, we've already got EOC results back that we're very excited about. Getting into that information and working with our individual campuses to figure out what they need instructionally, if there's any kind of gaps that we can see where we really need to push in for this upcoming summer school session, but then also planning for the 21-22 school year. For 3 through 8, we will get those results at the end of May, so we'll start working through that as well. And again, we will be sharing this in a you did it wrong kind of way. Definitely a learning goal for all of us to see where we are, what we need, what we don't need. We're not going to be using these as front-facing. It's going to be very internally focused results. We're going to be working with those campus directors, etc. We also, in order to combat the fact that some of our students, the STAR results might not play on the growth, we wouldn't be able to see that full growth of the full school year. We are having the MAP test, which does measure our student growth. We took it in the fall, and we will be taking it in the spring. So they have the next week and a half to finish those tests, and we'll be using those results to really look at the true part where they started. They missed a semester of school last year. A lot of them had a lot of struggles with the remote learning, and how did we combat that? What do we still need to combat over the next school year? So lots of potential for information, lots of potential for pushing into our campuses where they might not have any kind of detailed clue how we can mitigate some of that learning loss. So that's really our big things. I do want to mention that we are, as an entire state, moving to online assessment. So like I mentioned, our EOCs take their tests online already. But our 3 through 8 students will be required by the 22-23 school year to exclusively take their tests on, which I know our kids are very happy about. So it's a bit of a transition into it, but I think ultimately our campuses will be well served with the online assessments. There'll be a little bit of a change in the test, which benefits both our campuses and our students really well. It also makes the logistics for the district and the testing incredibly sound. Right now we do a lot of shipping, and we have to have a lot of lead time for paper materials, so this will really help with that particular aspect of testing. So,
can I ask a question about that? It's going to be out of the blue.
Okay.
So children or students that have disabilities, ADA related disabilities, will the system accommodate those?
yes, sir, they will. So they have already started talking about all the various accommodations that will come with the online test. A lot of them are going to be similar to how they do it now. So say you're a student who has an accommodation that is the test being read to you, that will still be an accommodation that's available to you. It'll just be that the person reading it to you records it on the online platform. The biggest change that they're going to do is start introducing interactive items. So they have set a new rule that the capacity or the maximum limit for multiple choice questions is 75%. The 25% of our items will be short answer, or if we're taking a math test, it might be the graph. If we're doing biology, it might be naming things within that particular subject area. But all of the accommodations for any of our students with disabilities are still going to be available to them in just that online kind of chat.
So it'll be ADA compliant.
Exactly, yes.
Whether it's the browser or the voiceover or
Yes,
the.
yes, sir. And they are going to take this 21-22 school year to work out some of those things. I imagine that they will be requesting some schools to pilot those tests, especially for schools where the accommodations are going to be necessary. They might be asking for volunteers. They might have various versions of the test that they try out before the final, this is the new way kind of test comes out.
And so our autism school in San Antonio, is there something special that's in place for that?
So because the students are only kinder first and
Oh, so
second,
it's not
pre-K
starting.
kinder first, so they won't have to do it. So they take the Amplify assessment, that's the new state standard for the kinder literacy. They do have those accommodations already set, and there's very few of their students that actually end up having to take that assessment. Yes. So, and that assessment is online, so they have already thought through those accommodations as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could you take 2 minutes and just introduce yourself, your background, and how long you've been here?
My name is Lauren Fellers. I have been here for 3 years, I think. Came in with our virtual program, kind of worked through some of the ups and downs of all of that program going to scale so quickly, and it was really great. And then I moved over into the academic department, and I do all of our professional or our academic data for STAR, for MAP, for all of those things, research projects, and then I run our federal grants. My background is in statistics. I did a PhD from Columbia, and I've always loved education. I did not want to work in finance or economic trends. So I'm originally from Dallas, so I moved back to New York and somehow found a spot home
Glad
here.
we snagged you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was my job to text Glenda, so she's behind me, but I just started talking. I'm going to text her really quickly. Any other questions about myself or data, life?
I could have used your help in college with statistics.
Are they changing the online vendor? I think they are changing
They
the
are
online vendor for
changing.
next year.
Correct. I believe next year will be the first year with the new vendor. And I believe, this is just rumor, I do not have confirmation, but I believe it is a fraction of Pearson. That's actually this new testing vendor, testing online group. Cambria? Something. They have an interesting name, but yes, it is a new vendor this
I
coming
jump
year.
around every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think you're welcome.
Appreciate you taking time.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for your presentation. Appreciate it.
I did text Linda, she's on her way.
All right, you all know Wyatt. You met him a couple of months ago, and he's going to give us an update on expansion financing.
Yeah, well, good morning, everybody. I'm going to give you a quick summary of the events over the last 6 weeks. You may have already heard the headline, but my headline is a great capital market raise and results. Why do I say that? We had the largest bond offering ever in RES's history. We got the lowest rate, and we got an upgrade from Standard & Poor's. So not a full upgrade, but good enough that we can call it an upgrade.
Positive outlook.
Pardon me?
Positive outlook.
Positive outlook.
outlook,
Yeah, so still triple B, but positive.
Triple B positive outlook.
Good.
So great results. So I'm going to give you a quick summary of what happened. And you all are certainly a critical part of that. If you look at the roadmap here, we started in December of last year. We all approved our PSF application, the Permanent School Fund Guarantee. We also approved our reimbursement resolution for about just shy of 15 million. And also our bond team, our bond underwriters, which this year we continued to use RBC as a senior. We added Baird as a co-manager, and we think that was a positive step. We go into January, we actually start kick off all of the preparation with the bond team. Get into February, we continue with that work, our preliminary offering statement, which the biggest part for us is called Appendix A, which contains a lot of the updates since the last bond offering in 2016. We get into March, we have our rating presentation with S&P. You all approved the bond parameter sale, and then we finalized our preliminary offering statement. In April, we did our bond pricing, we did the bond sale, and we had our closing and issued the final OS. And then now we're into May, we're actually spending the money. So that's good news. So as far as the details of really what we do the financing, on Wednesday, April 7th, we conducted the sale. Everything but the 2051 series went to the institutional investors. The underwriters acquired the 2051 series. Again, we used RBC and Baird as our underwriters. Standard & Poor's was our rating agency. We had a AAA PSF guarantee. The underlying rating, which is really the one that we work on, is on BBB positive. Principal amount of the sale, almost 150 million. We had two series, series A and B. One was tax exempt, one was taxable. That's the reimbursement. The reimbursement resolution that you all passed was for the taxable. It's got a 10-year call option. Security, pretty standard. They have a first lien on all of our adjusted revenues. It's parity with the existing bond from 15 and 16. And a little bit of information on the permanent school fund if you're not familiar with that. It came available in 2014, and most of the big networks are now investment grade, which you have to be in order to access the permanent school fund guarantee. Gives us a AAA rating. The covenants, no change in the covenants. We're still at 1.1 times historical, and our debt service coverage has to be at least 1.1. So no change in that. And we have no trouble meeting those covenants. So the actual dollar amounts on the financing sources and uses, we took down about 169 million in proceeds, including about almost 20 million of bond premium. And importantly, you can see the use of the funds. So the project funds mean how much is available for our construction. It was about 90 million that went to the construction fund deposit. We paid off our Regions note. If you recall, we had 81.5 million available in the Regions line of credit. We were up to about 73 million, which got completely paid off. So it's an evergreen type situation. We're back to 81.5 now. Cost of issuance, underwriter discount, the permanent school fund expense. It doesn't come free, obviously. There's a cost to that. Basically, there's a complicated formula where they take the present value of the difference between what it would be without the permanent school fund and what it is with the permanent school fund. So that's a healthy thing for us. So on the right-hand side, you can see where those dollars are going to and what year and which of our charters.
Brian, can I just ask you a question about
Yeah,
that?
sure.
Is there a calculation that was done to determine, because I know we get the AAA rating, what the rate might have been, see if it would have worked out, and Yeah, well, you can kind of look at the difference between the tax exempt and the taxable, and that kind of gives you an understanding of what the benefit of the permanent school fund guarantee might be. It's about
It's 100 basis points higher.
yeah.
This we projected to be about 50 basis points what it was kind of costing for the fee. So we still saved a little more.
yeah, okay, so
About 50 basis points.
and while I'm asking questions, I'm sorry, I'm going to take back to, you don't have to go back to the previous slide, but to the covenants compliance. Who monitors? Does Regions monitor that?
Yes, yeah, we monitor it. It's self-monitoring. We typically have to make that comment in the audit report that we've met those covenants. The auditors don't really test it for some reason. They rely on us, on our integrity of our calculations. But S&P looks at that very seriously. they do their own calculations. So we give them our projections, what we think, and then they go through and they have their own methodologies to come up with the rating. And obviously, we hope to be in sync, in alignment with them, which we were. So we're well above that. We're at 1.58 with last year's operating income or EBITDA, adding on all of this new debt. So we're well above. We're well above. We have a really strong coverage ratio.
Yeah, that's good. And that's the question I always ask James when we talk about doing bond offerings, is where does the number end up? It's always been helpful.
Right. Yeah. And by the way, just as a side note, our days cash on hand, which is another key metric that S&P looks at, it's going to be very positive. Our target is 150 days. Because we've got reimbursed from cash that we have used of our own operating account, it's going to be up near 180. So we think that's going to propel us next time we do a bond up to a BBB+.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So we have a very positive outlook, as I said.
Yeah, and hopefully the rate environment is good then too.
Yeah, that's the big unknown at this point.
You want to mention the all-in
Yeah.
rate here before I go to the next slide?
Yeah, the TIC true interest cost 2.428. That's pretty amazing.
That really is. Yeah.
So very happy with the results. May never see that again.
That's right.
I just want to give you a little quick view of the S&P rating because it is such a critical part of our process. We basically the whole process that we go through is to get to S&P. This gives you a little look at what the national ratings distribution is. You want to be on the left side of that tall column.
That's good.
Most people are BBB-. Then you get into the bigger networks, and they're BBB. We think BBB+ is certainly an attainable goal, and we look forward to that opportunity next time. I just included, this is the front page of the Standard & Poor's report, which shows where we are getting the positive outlook upgrade. Happy to send you a copy of the report if you'd like. It's interesting reading, if you're into that kind of thing. But it gives a really good snapshot of ResponsiveEd, and it's very complimentary of the management team. So we want you to read that.
And it's funny, I told some people I work with about what we got for the rate, and the first response back was that it shows the confidence in the management.
Yes.
And so I agree with that comment and their comment as well. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right, anything else, Wyatt?
I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
in. Appreciate you taking time. Thanks.
I'll see you in June for the budget.
Budget. He's working feverishly on the budget.
Yes.
Okay, Sarah says we do not have any public comments related to an agenda item. Is that right? Okay, so we can move into the consent items.
Okay. Are there any changes, or is there a change to the consent items that are listed here in 1 through 13?
There is nothing out of the ordinary. These are things you see throughout the year, and we're asking for approval for these.
Yes, so nothing to remove or?
No, sir.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the consent items, or can we go directly to approving? No questions from me. Okay. I will make a motion to approve consent items D on the agenda 1 through 13. Do I hear a second? Second. Thank you. Does anybody object? No. Okay, great. The consent items under D 1 through 13 passes unanimously. And on to separate items?
Separate items, yes, sir.
And we have one separate item listed, which is to consider approving the contract with Blue Learning in partnership with Fulbright for Kids to fund the SOAR
Just so the board knows, they're abstaining from voting just to be above reproach. There's nothing that requires them to abstain. There's no conflict, charter law or rules for them to do so, but they're just deciding to do it on their own accord. Just for your information.
Thank you for coming up, Glenda.
You bet.
Appreciate it. And you're gonna give us kind of an overview
Yes,
program.
a brief overview of the program. Here's a sample, so I'll have that around if you guys want to look at that as well. So yes, Book Drive for Kids is a program that really helps kids get access to books during the summer that may not have an option to have those books. This program provides, you'll see a kit, and each student, our pre-K through second grade, would get a kit of like this with 10 books. 8 of the books will be on grade level for them. 2 of the books would be lexile level for the student, or possibly something that they're interested in. In addition, they will have questions that the family can participate in with them. They'll have hands-on projects that they could do. They'll also have links to read alouds for availability for all the books. And data has shown that kids that have literacy and options to read over the summer don't experience so much of that summer slide that we a lot of times see from when they leave school to when they come back. Approximately 17 of our schools are looking to participate voluntarily into this program, which would serve 1,828 of our kids. The cost of the program is $121,464. Now, early education allotment funds would be available to fund this initiative. Data will be collected on our kids. So at the end of this year, we will collect data on those children participating. And when they come back in the fall, we'll do the same thing and collect data just to see how has this program benefited our students. Project will not be a burden at all to our campuses because it will be turnkey. As you see, everything will be in the package. All the campuses would have to do is just pass out the books to the kids in these bags. So it's a great project. There'll be a letter in there as well for our parents. So it's a great benefit to our kids and something I hope we do consider approving. Are there any questions?
So, I'm sorry, Beardy, when do the kids get, is it towards the end of the school year? They're given the books as they leave for summer? Is that how it works?
Yes, they'll have a bag like this for each of our students. Thank you. They'll have a bag like this for each of our students. There's a letter in there. Everything is ready. All the campuses will have to do is just pass them out to the kids.
Who prepares the bags?
Mrs. Cook is preparing the bags, as well as your wife is preparing those bags. And so we have people in the warehouse as well that we're putting everything together because we don't want to burden our campuses, right? We know it's very busy for them. So, but we want to get these books in the hands of our kids.
Ben texts me at night and say, where's Nicole? She's not home. Box,
I think
sorting books and preparing.
my wife is here probably, 80% of her time, 90% is in the warehouse. It's going to be stronger than these. All the books and bonds.
Total cost was what?
$121,464.
And it'll come from the federal funding.
Yes, we do have early education allotment money that will fund this project.
So we were in Austin a little over 6 weeks ago. We were doing a book drive. I was down there for another reason, but I drove down. Michelle went with me, and they did a small book drive at one of our schools, distributing books. And prior to going down, Michelle had, I think Nicole had found a website, or another person down in the Austin area may have found a website that is a group that's been around for 30 years doing similar things. One thing they're doing that they never really thought about on the Book Drive for Kids side is this summer reading program. So when we started looking at their data, the data is pretty impressive. I mean, the percentage may seem low, but it's actually a pretty impressive number that 36% of the kids that participated in their program, this group in Austin, did not have the summer slide. Or if they had any, it was very minor. So if we could see that kind of those kind of results, it'd be well worth doing this. And we would want to expand it into other schools, as well as Book Drive for Kids would go to other networks of schools and offer the same thing with potentially some of the stimulus money that's out there now for school districts.
You may have mentioned it, I may have just missed it, but is there any incentive for the kids to actually participate?
I don't think there's an incentive for the kids. They do get to keep all of these books, so that's the incentive, is they get to have some fun projects already prepared for them. They get books that they can keep at home for their libraries and for families.
And they get to keep the bag.
And the bag, that's right,
And
that's
the
the
bag.
incentive right here.
I mean, so just my personal experience and hearing my wife talk after a book drive is how excited the vast majority of kids are to receive a book. And, you know, a lot of times their drives are, you know, focused on disadvantaged, economically disadvantaged students. So to have that book and be able to, they're eager to read, especially with the grades that they're offering and giving free books to. It's exciting to see. And, you know, one of the things that I've always harped on my children and, you know, to anyone in my family who will listen to me is you become infinitely smarter by reading. You'll be better at math. You'll be better at that. You guys all know this. So, you know, I'm really supportive of the idea, not to persuade you both that way, but I'm very supportive.
And I think another incentive is the fact that some of these books are very personalized to the student's interests. So these are not just random books, right? But they're books that are on the lexile level of that particular child, as well as target some of the interests of that particular child. So it's a very personal thing for them, as opposed to just here's generic books and it really has nothing to do with the things that they would be really excited about.
And if you would feel more comfortable with me and Ben leaving the room so you can ask additional questions of Linda, we would not mind doing that.
No need.
Any other questions for Glenda? So we'll not vote on this. We're asking for your approval on considering this SOAR summer reading program.
Would you like me to ask for a
If you
motion?
wouldn't mind, yeah.
Yeah. I make a motion to approve the contract with Blue Learning in partnership with Book Drive for our kids to fund the SOAR summer reading program. Marvin or Kent, will be second?
Second. Sorry, Mom.
Any, all in favor? Anyone, so, is anyone opposed? No? All right, motion passes unanimously with Ben and Chuck abstaining.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very much,
Glenda.
Linda.
Thank you, it's great work.
Thank you.
Okay, we are ready to go into closed session.
Okay.
After the reading.
We're going to go into closed session pursuant to section 551 spot 074 and section 551 spot 0821 of the Texas Government Code. We are authorized to go into closed session. No votes will be taken until we reconvene in open session.
Right here. Yeah. We just pause. I guess this is pause over here. Pause.
Okay, we are back in open session and we are recording. All board members are present. We are ready to make a motion and vote on what was discussed and decided, or based on what was discussed and decided in closed session for the grievance that involved the employee against Responsive Education. We are affirming the level 3 grievance decision, and we are going to make a motion to approve the grievance, the level 3, affirm the level 3 grievance, and to deny the remedy. So I will make the motion to approve the level 3, the decision and the level 3 grievance, and maintain that, and to deny the remedy that was requested by the employee. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Marvin. And I'm going to do the same as maybe we just we all say aye, if we all agree. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes unanimously, and you agree to maintain the level 3 grievance decision and deny the remedy. With respect to the parent grievance, we are
Make a motion.
we're going to make a motion to deny or to approve the level 3 decision. Sorry. So making a motion to approve, I will make a motion to approve the level 3 decision in this particular matter. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Marvin. I'll ask for a vote. Aye.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously. So
We're ready to adjourn.
we are ready to adjourn. Well, thank you all very much for attending, and we are adjourning the ResponsiveEd Texas Charters session.